What's up guys, you've got the Oracle there and we are back on MTGO for a new 9th edition draft. And this pack is pretty good. We have Air Elemental as a decent one. I think it's just better than Evacuation. Sift is also great, so quite a lot of good blue cards there. Cloud Chaser is fine, a bit unexciting I would say. Gravedigger is awesome. So I think my options are either to take Air Elemental, Sift, or Gravedigger. I've been really impressed with Gravedigger, and the fact that there's a bunch of good blue cards here kind of makes me want to go into another direction and let other people fight for blue. But that could be wrong. I mean, I would say that in general, Air Elemental has a higher power level than Gravedigger. And Gravedigger is probably the same as Thief, and then Evacuation and Windrake are a bit, below those. I'm just gonna stick with Gravedigger though. I do like this card a lot, and black is great, remove all, and when you have a few Gravediggers, if you can, the card becomes even better, and somehow I got past a Confiscate, which is awesome. And well, now I guess I wish I had taken a blue card, but I'm definitely not taking anything else. That card is broken. It's basically a mind control, but you can target anything. It's completely broken. If this was not there, I wouldn't mind picking Enfeeblement, which is a decent removal spell. Worst case scenario, if their creatures is too big, you can still make it weaker. So it is better than just -2/-2 as as a sorcery or something along those lines. Well, passing a bunch of blue and picking a Confiscate is not my favorite thing to do, but yeah, I mean, that card is crazy. Alright, Daring Apprentice is actually pretty bad, I would say. I mean, the body is irrelevant, and I mean, you'll get to counter something, but it's gonna be something that your opponents basically allows you to counter. So I think this card has just not much to. I mean, I just don't think it's a good card. So neither the blue or black cards are interesting in this pack. So I think I'll go in another direction. I think the two best cards are green, Anaconda and Rootwalla are pretty good. And then you have Anarchist, which I do love a lot. Could see myself playing either black-red value deck with, Anarchist, Gravedigger, and stuff like that, or a blue-red control deck, which could use Anarchist. I'm just gonna pick that. I like to play slow, grindy control deck with some sort of, card advantage in them. Alright, Council would be decent. I think it works quite well with Anarchist and Confiscate, because, well, the interaction with Anarchist is pretty obvious, but then Card Draw Spell gives you land to cast 6-drop like a Confiscate. I think another option would be to take Enfeeblement, but I think Enfeeblement goes a bit worse with Anarchist. I guess I could play Enfeeblement, Gravedigger, and Confiscate in a black-blue deck. I think I'm just gonna take Council. I'm quite sure that I want to be blue because Confiscate is just, I mean, that thing is incredibly hard to beat and incredibly powerful. Here we do not really have any good blue or red card, unfortunately. The best card is probably Elvish Warrior, which is decent. I'm just gonna take Holodogs. It's a decent 5-drop. I could still go into a black-blue thing there, and yeah, Holodogs has probably the same power level as the Elvish Warrior, but the Warrior is really good though. Very good body, quite undercosted. It trumps a lot of those other, grizzly bears, as some people call them, but that's an actual grizzly bears, which is pretty fun. Anyway, yeah, I think Holodogs is the best option for me. There's not much to say. As here, I think I'm just gonna take Razortooth Rat, which is pretty good. I mean, a 2-power evasive creature for 3 is pretty decent in this set. Cockroach is actually not that bad, not as bad as it looks, but I think the rats are a bit better. Samite Healer is decent, though not too appealing, same with the Cloud Chaser. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear-cut Razortooth Rats. And at this point, I think I'm really, leaning towards a blue-black deck. Um, Guess I'll take Serpent Warrior. That thing is decent. I think you don't want to play too many of those because, the first one is okay, the second one a bit more annoying, and I guess you don't really want to cast 3 of those in the same game given the drawback. That being said, the body is pretty good, so it's a decent one. Nothing too exciting. I guess I could take the Barbarians and if I still want to go red, but there's no real reason to do so. Yeah, it's gonna be Warrior. Not the most exciting pick, but it's my 7th pick, so at this point it's quite logical that I'll get something less exciting than other things. Dream Prowler is actually pretty decent. It's a great wall and it can also attack in an evasive fashion. It's just a quite decent creature. It blocks a lot of things. 5 toughness is a lot in this set, and there's not much that will get through a Dream Prowler. Goblin, not my favorite, and the other cards are pretty bad overall. And that's a fairly late Spider. That card is... Giant Mantis in Oath of the... it's in Battle for Zendikar, actually, not Oath of the Gatewatch, but that card is decent in this set. And here the power level is much lower, which makes the 2/4 reach for 4 body actually pretty good. Giant Spider have always been pretty decent in core sets, and in older core sets like 9th edition, they are actually even better. So I'm quite surprised to see that going that late. Well, I just picked it. I could have taken Mind Rot, but I don't really like discard spells too much in limited, so yeah, it's fine. And since I'm blue, I might have some flyers, so maybe maybe this could pay off. It didn't really matter. I don't think so. Anyway, Spineless Thug is a whoa, that's a very late Armodon. That card is just good. Not sure why it's still there. Fairly late Warrior too. As I mentioned, I don't really want to play thousands of those, but 2 might still be fine. Alright. Yeah, that's a very late Armodon. Armodon is good, like really good, I think. The issue with green in the core set is that you have the best creatures. Ooh, Cockroach is not bad, actually. You have the best creatures, but you are really lacking either card draw, card advantage, or removal, which is pretty annoying. Alright, I would assume that I will not get match blue this pack, and actually I did not get match blue last pack, but whatever, it is what it is. That's okay. So at this point, because that pack doesn't have any good blue or black card, or black card, Holodogs is fine, but not too appealing. I could see myself taking Hammer and jump out of blue, because I passed a lot of blue. I don't expect to get a lot of blue here, and blue doesn't seem open at all. So yeah, that could be an option. Either I take the Holodogs and try to stick to the blue thing, but it might not work, or I take Hammer, which is much more powerful, goes very well with Anarchist, and maybe I change up my direction. And I think I'm gonna do that. Even if I end up blue, Holodogs it's not good enough that I think it's worth passing a potential very good card for it. And hopefully I will not get destroyed by Circle of Protection Black, but that's another story. Alright, we got an Form of the Dragon. That card is quite tricky, quite interesting. I think it's pretty broken, honestly. At this point, I'm quite sure that I definitely want to go red, because again, Rubber has probably approximately the same power level as an Holodog, and none of the blue cards are really appealing. And there's a Hammer, which I would take most of the time, but maybe Form of the Dragon is actually better. That card is sweet. One of the most important thing here is the last effect. Creatures without flying can't attack you. I mean, that card just straight up beat a bunch of decks, and you kill you kill them extremely fast. Even if they have flyer, you can kill the flyers with the ability. I think that card is actually quite broken. I haven't played it yet, but I would assume that it's quite powerful. So I guess we are doing that now, and jumping out of blue. Yeah, I mean, someone passed me a confiscate, but blue doesn't team up, and there's a time ebb and a sieve there, but I think at this point, yeah, I jump out of blue, but whatever, I mean, it's fine. I guess I'll play blue. I mean, I might end up red-black, which is the same colors I was playing last time, but whatever, I mean, I've been happy with my last deck, so I'm fine doing the same thing again. Anyway, Razor 2 Strat seems like a decent pick here. Sift and Time Ebb are better, but as I mentioned, I think I kind of moved out of blue at that point. I hope, well, at least no one is gonna confiscate my Form of Dragon, which I guess is a good news. And here, well, there was a decent amount of blue card in the last pack, but that aside, not much. And here again, there's no blue. Angel of Mercy is pretty good, probably the best card here. Shaman is nice. I think I like Shaman a bit better than Warrior. The cards are probably quite close though. And I think I like both more than Foul Imp. I mean, especially when I have two Serpent Warriors, I probably don't want to stack even more lose life effect on my side. So yeah, it's gonna be Shaman, which is a decent card. That's a very late feature. Not very late, but quite late. I'm just gonna pick that, not because I suddenly want to go into blue again, but more because there's nothing else. I mean, I'm not playing Underworld Dream, Stone Rain, and All in Strength, the Imp or whatever, so I might as well take the better card here. Alright, don't mind playing another Holo Dogs, that card is fine. Currently I only have one sorcery to get back with Anarchist, which is not my favorite, but whatever. I guess Rise Dead is actually a decent target. I mean, Rise Dead Anarchist is actually an infinite combo. You do have an infinite blocker, because you rise the Anarchist and you play the Anarchist, you get back the rise and so on and so forth. So it's not a bad synergy. Also, Rise Dead is quite annoying with Gravedigger for your opponent, because you can get the Gravedigger and another creature. I think it's looking at those two those two cards interact favorably with Rise Dead, and even then it's overall quite a good card, so I think it's a decent pick. I mean, Coercion is playable and decent, but I think Rise Dead looks quite good. Here, well, Boiling Seas is quite a sick sideboard option, and I would assume that there are some blue players here. I'm just gonna go with the main deck option, which is Ravnica, which is decent. It fits the curve quite well, and yeah, it's really a decent card too. Alright, we wield the Holo Dog, so I guess the Volcanic Hammer, I think I picked that over it, so yeah, that was definitely a good idea. Holo Dogs is really threatening in this set. I mean, look at the average size of the cards, and you can tell that this is pretty decent. Alright, I guess I'll cut an Armodon. Don't really care about anything else. Cockroach, again, playable. And I do have a decent amount of playables there, which is sweet, because since I picked 4 pretty good blue card quite high, I could have ended up with not enough playables. Quite surprised. I mean, honestly, in this 9th edition card set, there are not that many playables. And if you don't care enough, you might end up with not enough playables. So I'm surprised that I managed to get, enough playables for my deck, as well as 4 very solid cards in another color, and 3 very solid cards in a 4th color. I mean, if you look at what I picked so far, except for Reclaim and, well, obviously the Swamp, everything is a playable, and that's actually quite rare, because look at those things. I mean, they are not great. I mean, Sentry is playable, but not really exciting. And I guess I could still go into blue if I really have incentive to do so. I have actually more blue cards than red cards. Now I think Form of the Dragon and Hammer and Anarchist might be better than I'm not even sure. I might end up blue. I guess we'll see. I'm certainly black, but now, yeah, I definitely have the option to either play blue or red, I think. Not sure which one is better. I would assume that Form of the Dragon is pretty broken. And you know, all my other red cards are quite premium. Um, my blue is a bit worse in general, but Confiscate is so sick. And the Fisher has probably the same power level as Anaba Shaman. Then Confiscate probably the same as Form of the Dragon. I don't know. Not sure which color is better currently. Felwar Stone is pretty good. I mean, if I end up red, I'd be happy to have acceleration for Form of Dragon, and if I end up blue, I'd be happy to have acceleration to Confiscate. Bogres is decent. Ravenous Rats are decent. Don't really want Threaten. Barbarians isn't exciting. And if I end up blue, I'd rather have Felwar Stone than Mana Leak. So I think the pick is between this or... Actually, I kind of want 2-drop at that point. I do have a bunch of 5 and 4 and 3-drop. Kind of want to fill up my curve, which makes the rats and the stone a bit more appealing, I think. Might just take the stone, I mean... Yeah. I think it's quite a decent peak. Ooh, Pyroclasm. That's a good one. Also, unlike last time, my deck is not that aggressive, and I have fewer creatures that dies to it. I still have a decent amount of them, but I'm probably not playing 2 cockroaches, I guess. And yeah, I think Pyroclasm can be pretty good in this deck, especially when you have late game extremely powerful card like Form of the Dragon. Last black-red deck I was playing was more of a beat down aggressive deck, as here it looks more like a slower control your deck, in which case Pyroclasm is gonna be even better. So yeah, I think I'm picking that. And probably moving into red quite drastically here. Sandstone Warrior is amazing. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the last card that really sets me up for red. And then another Shaman. Alright, yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Sure. Confiscate is amazing. The Fisherman dude is good too, but I think at this point I have a lot of incentive to go red. So it's gonna be that. Alright. Hill Giant seems better than the Cockroaches. I think it's just a better card in general, and given the Pyroclasm, it looks even like much better than it would be. That thing is quite good in aggressive deck, not so much in that deck, I think. At this point, I would be happy to cut a cockroach. Probably both if I can. I might not. That's a very late Rootwalla, by the way. Furnace of Wrath. That acts for both players. That make Pyroclasm Wrath almost, because not much have more than 4 toughness in this set. That's really, I mean, that's kind of overkill with Form of the Dragon. I don't think that's very good, honestly. I'm just gonna cut the Rootwalla, which I think is the best card here. Alright, don't mind playing another Warriors, those are very good. And I think they are more valuable than the Barbarians or the Imp, given the Pyroclasm. And my deck is looking slower and slower, but that's not an issue. And since I picked this stone, I don't mind having a bunch of 4-drop either, so yeah, things are looking good. Okay, Flash Fire is a great sideboard option. I guess I could take a Warrior. The thing is, I mean, those are kinda good with Pyroclasm, because they are 3-drop that don't die to it, but yeah, I mean, playing 3 of those is risky, I would say. Just gonna take Flash Fire. Don't really want to stack up too many of them. I guess I'll play Balduvian Barbarians. I'm not gonna build my deck around Pyroclasm. I mean, and this is a very fine card. Also, it seems like I'm playing more and more red. At this point, I'm actually mostly red and splashing for black cards, which did not look like that a few picks ago. But yeah, now I'm quite ready. No, not. I mean, I'm playing a lot of red, that's what I meant. Alright, guess I take the cockroach and not play it, most likely. Sweet, the deck looks good. I could use a bit more removal. An unconditional removal like the Dark Banishing, the 3 mana instant that destroys the non-black creature would have been awesome, but whatever, I mean. I did not get that. Alright, sweet. So I think I have my 23rd card here. And I have a sweet curve, good power level. Spineless Tug doesn't look great, but I don't think I have anything better to put in my deck. I mean, I do like that more than the cockroaches. Flashfire is not a main deck option. I'm not gonna try to splash blue, so yeah, and Bug Imp is worst, I think. So alright, that's gonna be the main deck. And I thought I would be mostly black, but at this point, and also given the form of dragon, I'm actually gonna add quite a bunch of mountains. Alright, that might be right. Still want a decent amount of black, but I think 10-7 looks good given what I have. I could go to 11-6. I think 10-7 is fine though. Yeah. Alright. So I do have Pyroclasm and Hammer as removal, as well as Shaman kind of, and Form of... I mean, that card has to be busted. Also, if you are not playing against a blue or white deck, there's not many flyers. I mean, you have Bog Imp and a few other things, Foul Imp, a few imps in black. But if you are playing against a green, I don't know, a green-red deck, like this card is just game over. It's goodbye. And there's not many things that will destroy an enchantment either. Alright, so that's gonna be the deck. I hope you enjoyed the draft. If you did, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. And I see you guys for round 1.